CME Group can help you navigate risks and capture opportunities. We enable you to reach global markets and drive forward with broader possibilities. CME Group, how the world advances.
Trillions of a second, it have grown up to the size much larger than the size of.
When the ancients looked into the night sky, they thought the heavens revolved. The thinking is that inflation may not have stopped at the same time everywhere. So we live in a universe that was spawned by one area of inflation, but bubble universes or pocket universes could have continued to form elsewhere.
We don't know much about how inflation started. We don't know if it started only once or many times. Perhaps it started many times.
Gravity to exist,
but even if it only started once, that's enough to create an infinite number of these pocket universes. Because once the inflation goes, a pocket universe forms here, a pocket universe forms there, and just goes on forever.
And as a result, the universe becomes a self-reproducing, eternally growing fractal.
What these universes could be like is a mystery, but it is conceivable that the laws of physics within them would be totally different from our own.
They may not allow gravity to exist, they may not allow a periodic table of elements, they may not allow stars to be stable for long enough, etc.
This is one of the ideas of string theory, which attempts to unify general relativity with quantum mechanics. The thinking is that all of the solutions produced by string theory that don't match up with what we can see in our own universe may actually represent reality in other universes.
So, the basic idea of a multiverse is that the different solutions of string theory control the environment in these different regions very far away.
So, if we are in a multiverse where the different constituents are governed by different physical laws, then we have to introduce a concept called anthropic selection. The idea that we are not in a typical universe, because most of them will be sterile or stillborn, because the laws governing them won't allow complexity to emerge.
The anthropic principle is the idea that our universe is fine-tuned to allow humans to live. A small fiddle with the strength of gravity, for example, and life as we know it would not exist. A coincidence that does not sit easily with scientists. The concept of a multiverse neatly addresses this problem. Within the infinite number of universes that could exist, we are simply living in the one we are able to. In the third type of Tegmark multiverse, as in the first, the laws of physics are the same from one to another. In this type, though, the component universes are separated not by distance, but by time. At every moment within such a multiverse, all of the possible futures allowed by the uncertainties of quantum mechanics actually happen.
Quantum mechanics is not a predictive theory, it's a probabilistic theory. So it says, for example, if a photon goes through a polarizer at 45 degrees to the angle of polarization, it just has a 50-50 chance of going through or not, and there's no way of knowing. One interpretation of quantum mechanics, which I think makes a lot of sense, says that when the photon hits the polarizer at 45 degrees, there's actually two futures that happen. One where it goes through the polarizer and one where it doesn't, and each future continues as if the other future were not there.
In the many worlds theory of the multiverse, the entirety of the universe acts like the quantum photon, but instead of having two potential future states, every possible outcome would be manifested. So our entire
Quantum theory shows that consciousness moves into another universe after death. A book entitled Biocentrism, How Life and Consciousness Are the Keys to Understanding the Nature of the Universe, published in the United States.
Tonight's talk is consciousness, creativity, and the brain. And if you have a golf ball-sized consciousness, when you read a book, you'll have a golf ball-sized understanding.
In the beginning was the Logos, the Big Bang, the primordial Om. Big Bang theory says that the physical The more you start to see how vibration arranges matter into complex forms from simple repeating waves. This water vibration has a pattern similar to a sunflower. Simply by changing the sound frequency, we get a different pattern. Water is a very mysterious substance. It is highly impressionable. That is, it can receive and hold on to vibration. Because of its high resonance capacity and sensitivity, and an inner readiness to resonate, the water responds instantaneously to all types of sonic waves. Vibrating water and earth make up the majority of mass in plants and animals. It is easy to observe how simple vibrations in water can create recognizable natural patterns. But as we add solids and increase the amplitude, things get even more interesting. Adding cornstarch to water, we get more complex phenomena. Triangle structure is nature's only self-stabilizing pattern. In the Old Testament, the word tetragrammaton reflects the understanding of that time in history. In the language of the Incas, the largest empire in pre-Columbian America, the word for human body is alpa kamasca, which means literally animated earth. In Kabbalah, or Jewish mysticism, they talk about the divine name of God, the name that cannot be spoken. It cannot be spoken because it is a vibration that is everywhere. It is all words, all matter. Everything is the sacred word. The tetrahedron is the simplest shape that can exist in 3 dimensions. Something must have at least 4 points to have physical reality. The triangle structure is nature's only self-stabilizing pattern. In the Old Testament, the word tetragrammaton was often used to represent a certain manifestation of God. It was used when talking about the Word of God, or the special name of God, Logos or primordial word. The ancient civilizations knew that at the root structure of the universe was the tetrahedral shape. Out of this shape, nature exhibits a fundamental drive toward equilibrium, Shiva, while it also has a fundamental drive towards change, Shakti. In the Bible, the Gospel of John usually reads, "In the beginning was the Word," but in the original text, the term used was logos. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus, who lived around 500 years before Christ, referred to the logos as something fundamentally unknowable, the origin of all repetition, pattern, and form. The Stoic philosophers who followed the teachings of Heraclitus identified the term with the divine animating principle pervading the universe. In Sufism, the Logos is everywhere and in all things. It is that out of which the unmanifest